Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a while. I had a family emergency last month, and so I haven't been living at home, and I was preparing to go back to school, so that's why I've been gone for a little while. But just want to let you know I'm still making videos for you guys, and I just wanted to say real quick thank you to all my new subscribers and old subscribers too. And didn't have an intro for this video, but I wanted to make something because this is probably the most important one of the most important tools of Anime Studio / MOHO that you might use, and it's something that I've just been using a lot more lately, and that is actions, but not smartphone actions. This is just regular actions and instances, and I'll show you how to use those. So here's my character, my default character. It's really similar to the one that's in MOHO 12 under the Poptugi name. But you can see here, if I go into the timeline, I have a couple of things rigged. I'm still using smartphone actions for the mouths. Even though the window in MOHO 12 is really good, I wanted to make this for people who have the older versions. So I can show you how to do that too. So I have smartphone action for all my mouths, and then there's a couple more, just the blink and eyebrow positions that I have rigged to the face. And the way that I make rigs is that I have the head on a completely different rig, just because for me it's easier to make facial expressions and then make the body movements separate. Then I do have eye bone here, if you've watched any of my tutorials, that controls the eye placement, but I also linked it to a bone outside of the head just so it's a little easier to move around. And got target bones on the legs, and I'll have to go to the body layer to move my character. But the thing that I wanted to show you guys today is if you open your window and go to your actions, if you've watched my videos, you know about these smartphone actions that I just showed you. But there's also just regular actions. And what these are just video clips or keyframes that you save from your animation that you can reuse to save you time. I think they're kind of like Flash. I think you can save, I think they're clips, called clips. But I'll show you how they work. So in your actions window, you instead of going to smartphones, just go to regular, and I'll just create a new action. And I'll hit the create new button, and I'll just do something like raise hands. And once I hit OK or return, the timeline turns pink, which means that you've activated the action to record. So I'm just gonna go in to like frame 6, and I'll go ahead and hit Z, and I'm just gonna raise my hands all the way up. And then double click out, or just double click back into the timeline. So what that's done is created this action right here, raise hands. So if you go anywhere in the timeline and click on the raise hands or any actions you've created, these two buttons will be ready to use. And there's an insert copy and insert reference. And the difference is, if I insert a reference, what that's going to do is insert this keyframe, and it's going to do the hand raise. But if I insert a copy, that's going to just put in the keyframes as normal. So it's going to act as if we just created these keyframes. So if I want to, the reason the reference is different is if I go in any time I'm animating and I want to change that raise hands, I don't want it to like have the hands go all the way up. I just want them to raise hands to the side. And click back into the timeline. Now that reference has changed automatically, see the first thing I did? Now it's automatically changed to raise to the side, whereas the copy is going to stay the same because it's just kind of placing keyframes for you. So that's the difference between reference and keyframes, or I mean reference and copy. And I hope that makes sense. References are something that you can change anytime you're animating. So if you want to change a run cycle or a walk cycle, you can do that. So the thing is that you have to be really careful about planning out how you're going to use these actions, because let me choose this raise hands. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So I have a walk cycle that I created already, and if I double click in here into that action, you can see it's just the same exact walk cycle in the Pop2G character, or any of the videos I've made about walk cycles. So I got that, and it's just looping. It'll keep showing you your action. It'll just keep looping those frames. Now I also have another action called hands up, and I actually have my hands rigged to a smart bone action, so they change positions too. So the hands are at this position, and then at frame 6 or 5 they go to the open palm and then are just up like that. Okay, and if we go into the main timeline, if I insert my walk cycle, I'll go ahead and put a copy in, and you can see that just adds the walk cycle wherever you want it to be. And say you want to use another action within action that you've already placed. So I have my walk cycle looping. If I click on hands up and insert a copy or a reference, it'll go ahead and raise his hands right there, and it's keeping the walk cycle in the arm, or I mean the legs, because we haven't interrupted that sequence. But now the hands have broken from this cycle. So now that the hands have been broken, we'll have to reanimate the cycle for the hands because they've been broken. But so you have to kind of plan how you're going to have your animation. If you want to do that, you'll have to, go back in, create a little cycle here for the hands. So I would go to this frame, and I'll go ahead and reposition the hands to how they should be, and then go to the next position, swing the arms. I will copy the first ones on frame 107 and paste. So I'm using the legs as a reference. So they're at their most extreme. This foot is forward, and then it starts going back from that frame on. And this is the other extreme. And then that's the last one. Put that in the wrong place. So now I have the hands moving again after I've done the hand raise back the way I want. I'll go ahead and cycle this, and I'm going to use relative to cycle. That way we can change where the cycle is going, because right now it's just going back to 0. So I'll click on the the frames, and I'm just using my mouse wheel to scroll back and put it right after that first keyframe, because we don't want it to cycle back to this one because it'll stutter. So now we have the hand movements going back, and the hands come down about here, and like I said, I have the hands already connected to smart bone actions. So I'll go and change the hands. Oops. If I can. Right here. I'm just clicking on them to make a keyframe, and then on the next one I'm gonna change them back to a different position. Like that. So then they're swinging again. So just keep in mind what you're keyframing when you're making these actions. So I have a default position, which is just my character standing. All I did was I went into the timeline of the action, and then I just went to, I can go to frame 6. I'm going to select all of the bones and then hit Command F, and that's just keyframes. It makes a keyframe for every bone in that position, so no matter what your character position is in your timeline when you're animating, it'll go back to the default. So if I double click in here, let me erase everything. So say I'm in my timeline and then I do hands up and I insert a copy. He raises his hands, and then I can go back to my neutral position or default position by clicking that and inserting a copy there too. And then I can do, I have a point lean forward, and you can make hundreds of these positions, and it just makes animating way faster, especially when you have a big library of movements. So hands up, back to the default, to the point, and then I don't have to go back to the default. I can use whatever positions that I've created, so I can do the hands up again. Now sometimes, because I use smart bone actions, my hands do change, but you might have to go back in and just fix things when you're using this kind of method. But it really speeds up animating, because you already have all of these movements. You won't have to spend a lot of time repositioning if you know what you want to do. And the same applies to the face rig that I have. So if I go to the face rig and I have those all in bones, you can see I have a bunch of different facial expressions that I've already just created automatically. So if I have my character animated and I want to just change the faces, I can go up to the drunk expression and insert a copy. And you see his face changes to kind of a half blinking position. Surprised, wonder. Now here's the problem that with the wonder is now it's being combined with the drunk. So the animation's really off. So you might want to create a default position. So I'll go to default face, which I did. So it goes back to how it's supposed to be. But you'll notice that the eyes aren't back to normal. And I think that's because, let me go to the default face. Let me select all and create a keyframe for everything. It might be because I did point animation for that. So let me see here. Insert copy. Let me go back here. So I have drunk. It's definitely because of something I did in the drunk action. I think I used these individual bones and moved the eyes separately, and that's why it's not going back. But it's okay that this happened, because it will happen to you. You'll get some of your actions mixed up, and you'll have to manually fix them. So let me really quick. I'm going to import a sound file. This is just some audio from The Simpsons. Homer being drunk. Beer talk. Now, just keep in mind too, when you import an audio file, and if it sounds like it's really slow,
Right, but you got a part that won't quit.
It just doesn't sound right. Don't worry about it. Your program's not messing up. It's just that it's Anime Studio or MOHO just can't handle all the information it's running. It's kind of like running really slow frame rate in a way. And sometimes you can get rid of it by changing the display quality or shrinking your window.
Right, but you got a part that won't quit.
But just keep in mind that nothing's wrong with your program. It's still working just fine. So I'm going to go through really quick, and I'll go ahead and fast forward to this part. But I'm just going to lip sync this audio file real quick. And I'll show you how to do, I'll do the first line in real time. So in my face, I have my mouth set up. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on the bone real quick to create a keyframe on frame 1. And I'm going to make it step because if you don't do this and you're using a bone to control your mouth shapes, if I go from one mouth to another, like down to this one, if I go from default to like the O sound, what it's going to do is it'll cycle through all the mouths in between, and we don't want that. We just want to pick one mouth and then have it switch directly to that. So that's why you see how in the timeline, when it's set to step, the bone moves from one frame to the next without animating the in between. Hope that made sense. Sorry, I'm rambling. It's been a while. So I have the default mouth, and then I'm gonna listen to the first part. So he says, maybe it's the beer talking, Marge. So I'm just going to go to maybe, and I'll do the A sound. The B sound is a closed mouth. Maybe. So he's doing E. S, so it's consonant. The beer. B is closed. Ear. Beer. R sound is either an O or I have a slight variation of the O for R. Beer. I'll close his mouth in between the words. Talking. So T is consonant. Awking. K is consonant. Ing. Marge. M is closed. R. G is consonant. So I'm basically going through really fast. And I'll just go ahead and fast forward this part for you guys. I'll be right back.
Hey guys, you big chip.
Okay, so he says, let me go back real quick. Maybe it's the beer, Marge, but you have a butt that won't quit.
But you got a butt that won't quit. They got these big chewy
They got these big chewy pretzels, and then he mumbles. And he says, $5, get out of here.
$5, get out of here.
So I've created the lip sync for my character, and this is where these actions can come in really handy. So if I have a bunch of facial expressions already, I can just go through the timeline. So he's drunk, so I'll just click on drunk and then apply a copy. So he's going to change his facial expression to that. And the reason I don't have the actions containing the eye position, because I want the eye position to change throughout the animation. So let's say he's talking to someone. I'll go ahead and change the eye position to look to the right. And since I applied that drunk look, and then I've created other actions, such as, I think I have a double blink. And I don't know, let me try this, because I don't think that'll... So, see, I don't have to create blinks. And when he says but, I can, I'll put in the surprised look. And add a copy to that. So see his eyebrows go up. And I think I have, let's do eye roll.
They got these big chewy.
Oops. I'll go ahead and undo that really quick because I'm gonna go back to the default phase. Or actually, I'll go ahead and animate the eyes moving manually.
What they won't quit.
They got these pretzels, so I'm going to go ahead and start animating the eyes. So I'll just create a position here. They got these pretzels. I'm just going to have him look over a little bit. And then I have to throw his hands up, so I'll just do that. Add a copy to that. And these actions can be way more complicated than just one move. The reason I made stuff like the hands up is just so he has quick movement. I already know what it looks like, so I can just pop that in and not have to worry about animating it. Then I have a point, so I'll just go to point, lean forward, add that in. And I'll go ahead and change the hand pose. So in this action, this doesn't change this hand, so I'll just manually go in and change it to the hand that I want. Get out of here. So I'll put it, use the hands back up.
Get out of here.
So you can see, if you plan it out right, you can use these actions to really speed up your animation. I've kind of animated the whole face and my body rig without having to do a whole lot after I've created all of these actions, and then you can reuse them in other animations. So the more you use these and create more actions, the faster and faster your animations can become. So let me go back in here. And it's just a matter of combining using actions and then going back in and fixing certain things, like the eye positions. So I'll animate his eyes moving back. And I'll do the surprised action that I created, add that. Oh, it's already set. But you can still go back in and animate how you normally would. So if I do $5, I'll go back in and I'm going to select all, freeze those frames, go a few frames in, and I'll go ahead and just do it by hand manually. So open his eyes real big, and I can even have his eyebrows. Oops. Just pop up for a little bit. Come back down. Get out of here. I think I have one for his eyes to kind of close, so I'll add those. So you can see that using actions is a really useful tool that I never really used a lot. I would go in and animate all my bones with every cartoon or intro that I've made, and this is really helpful. I'm gonna try and build a large library, and maybe I think I can add it to the Pop2Gi character model, so you guys can experiment with that. But this is a good start to just kind of show you how powerful that these actions can be. Let me go ahead and I'm going to clear all the animation from this document, and let me just turn off get rid of that audio. So I'm just starting with a clean slate again, and I just wanted to show you a couple of the other actions that I've created already, and I'm just going to go through and under my body. So they can be more complex. So I have a default position, I have a step back. If I double click in that, you can see it's a little bit more complex. I have a lot more keyframes in the action, but it's still just an action. So my character will actually step back. So if I'm in the timeline, actually let me undo. I'm gonna go add all these back in, and I'll go ahead and add that step back action somewhere in here. And you can see my character steps back in the middle of the animation. Now, just keep in mind though, when you're creating actions like this, where your character is moving from one position to another, I should have made this action stepping back of him in place, just animating his legs and bending his torso down so it's in the same place, because what'll happen is if you have another action and you've used freeze frames to create the positions, if I'm somewhere else in the timeline and add that again, or add a different action that has the position of your character in a certain place, he's going to pop back into that original start position. Like that. So there are some drawbacks to it, but like I said, if I had made the step back action kind of contained in this space, it'd be a lot easier to use, because then we can just move the character with the manipulate bones tool and have them use these different actions wherever you want. And again, I just wanted to show you again the difference between reference and copy, just because I've been talking so long. So if I go into the step back motion anywhere in here, and let's say in the middle lean him way back, or actually let's go in the timeline first. Insert step back. So if I do a reference, it'll have this red stripe. If I insert a copy, it'll have just the keyframes. So these will both look the same. But if I go and change the reference, move him really weird. This is just to show the difference. And go back in this timeline, because it's a reference, he's going to move like that now. Put those arms way out, and the copy will stay the same. So I hope that wasn't very confusing. Like I said, it's been a while since I've made a tutorial, but this is really nice feature that MOHO and Anime Studio have. Probably one of the most powerful things that you could use. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, or you can check on, there's a couple of Facebook groups on MOHO and Anime Studio, And you can always check the Smith Micro MOHO website forum for any tips or tricks on that too. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. And again, thank you to all my subscribers. And I will keep trying to make good stuff for you. Thanks. Bye.